All right, Shalom, Islam to all the Moors. I'm back. I'm DrYasapa from Zion Law School. We are doing our next presentation of cancer in the Gospels. All right, cancer in the Gospels. So we're coming out of the book of Mark. This is let's see where we're at. All right, we're on page 102, y'all. Page 102. All right. Page 102. This section is coming out of Mark chapter 6. Mark chapter 6, verse 30 through 8, chapter 8, verse 21. Okay. We are at the subheading Cancer and the Moon. So y'all get prepared. I've got my copy of the Devil's Pulpit. Let me get this together first. It's kind of raggedy because y'all know I use it. So my binding is coming apart. I need to get that fixed, but I just pulled it back out. This is the Devil's Pulpit. Y'all print this off. The link is in the description area of the video. Print it off. We're going to work with it, all right? Today, I'm going to make an attempt to show you some information as we come across it, as it comes up from the Gospel and the Zodiac. Okay, so as information comes up, I'm going to show you some citations where you can get additional information out of the Devil's Pulpit. Like I said, everyone should master this book. You don't need me to do any of this. I'm here doing it to introduce you to the information, but you do not need me, right? You can read it yourself. What I add is the analysis, all right? I can put 1 and 2 together, do the integrations and the correlations. My value is my analysis, all right? So let's get busy. Let's get with it, all right? I'm DrYasapa all, okay? If you want to pronounce that the Ibaryath way, it would actually be the ah and the la, so that would be Allah. Now, how do you like that? What can you say about that? This is a Moorish title for those of us who come from the southern part of the American continent. Put 2 and 2 together if you can. Put 2 and 2 together if you can. Find the video that I did called The Location of the Promised Land According to Moses. All right. That's all I'm going to say on that. That's all I'm going to say on that. No, let me take it one step further. In the north, we have the ills. The ills. What can you make out of that? Cancer and the Moon, page 102. The signs which mark the solstices are the equinoxes. All right, so this should be a review for you. This should not be new information for you if you've been with me for a while. All right. The signs which mark the solstices, that's winter solstice and summer solstice, right, scholars? And the equinoxes, that's the spring equinox and the autumn equinox. So we're dealing with higher self and lower self. Look at my hand. Higher self and lower self. Justice and equality. Y'all see that's a cross, right? That's a vertical line and a horizontal line. That's a cross. Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn are called the cardinal signs, each one of them associated with a different element. So the equinoctial cardinal signs would be Aries, the spring or autumn equinox, Libra, Aries, I hope I said Aries, the spring or the vernal equinox. That is correct. Aries is the spring or vernal equinox. Libra is the autumn equinox. The vernal or spring equinox is the covenant of work, the covenant of labor. The autumn equinox is the climactic point of the entire year. That's like when you're having sex. The whole point is to have an orgasm, right? Autumn is the whole point of the whole year. You can equate it to an orgasm. Autumn is the covenant of peace, right? Stress is gone after you have your orgasm. You feel at peace, right? The autumn equinox is the covenant of peace, the covenant of grace. You are satisfied. Your storehouse is full. You don't have a need for anything. This is your horizontal line. All right, that's your horizontal line. 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. There's no imbalance, there's no inequity. Now, the summer solstice, June 21st, 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. This is the Christ, the sun at its highest point or most northern point in the sky. Draw a line straight down, takes you to December 21st or 22nd. This is the sun at its lowest point in the southerly part of space. Can't go any lower than that. This is Satan the devil, hence the tetragrammaton and the devil are the same. Same pig. What's the difference? Christ, JC the Christ figure, who is in a trinity, therefore JC and the tetragrammaton are one. They're on the opposite end of the same line. Opposite as in opposer, as in Satan, the opposer, right? That's the meaning, the opposer, Hashatan. Clear? So now you have your north and south, east and west. This is the cross. Completely astrological. Completely astrological, meaning that it comes from nature, right? It is a way of describing nature. Okay, so let's go through this again. The summer solstice is Cancer. The winter solstice is Capricorn. Clear? The spring equinox is Aries. The autumn equinox is Libra. The balanced scales of justice. Scholars, take a moment to make a mental note of that. Do not forget it. If you don't remember anything else tonight, remember that. This orients you. This orients you in space. All right? So the signs which mark the solstices and the equinoxes, Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, are called the cardinal signs, each one of them associated with a different element. Aries is cardinal fire. Cancer is cardinal winter. Libra is cardinal air. And Capricorn is cardinal earth. In the beautiful, simple imagery of the zodiac, we see the tension that is produced in Cancer by the union of cardinality with water. Y'all remember that Cancer is cardinal water, okay? Let's do it again. Aries, y'all take a note, get your pens out, or type it on your cell phone. Aries is cardinal fire. The spring equinox, or the vernal equinox, is cardinal fire. That's fire. The summer solstice is cardinal water. The summer solstice is water. The fall or autumn equinox is cardinal air. So Libra is air. So here we have, starting from the spring, we have fire, water. In the autumn, we have air, and Capricorn is earth. Y'all got that? That's going clockwise, In the beautiful, simple imagery of the zodiac, we see the tension that is produced in Cancer. So there's tension in Cancer. That's the summer solstice. By the union of cardinality with water. Okay? So that produces tension. The cardinal signs denote pioneering activity, leadership, whereas water represents the shrinking, fearful, self-protective instinct. Now, I'm trying to get my head around why water represents shrinking. Shrinking, fearful, self-protective instinct. This is according to Carter, published in 1925, page 64. Wait a minute, y'all. I got to review this because I did not see how these things are. That don't make sense to me. I'll come back to it. Maybe it'll come to me. Herein lies the paradox of Cancer. All right. So well, that's why it didn't make sense, because it's a paradox. Well, let's see if it's actually a paradox. Herein lies the paradox of Cancer, so familiar to all of us. Just at the point of maximum opportunity to express forward, let me repeat that. Just at the point of maximum opportunity to press forward and achieve our goals, we retreat fearfully into the securities of the past. I would argue against that. That is not normal. That is not normal behavior. This is the behavior of people who have been indoctrinated. People who have been indoctrinated. They've been taught that everything they do is going to fail. See, I'm not one of those people who believe that people are born negative. I don't believe that. I think that comes from the religion, and that comes from people who failed in life, pushing that failure mentality on other people. All right? When we are born perfect. All right, but there is definitely an indoctrination and a hypnosis that takes place. And in North America, it is intentionally meant to put people in the negative state of mind. So I disagree with the author fervently. However, Christianity does do that to people. See, you could not have a healthy personality. You could not know that you are the power, that you are Psalms 82:6, and then turn around and say you need an external deity to save you. It's a contradiction. Y'all see what I'm saying? Can y'all follow me? Can y'all follow me? Herein lies the paradox of cancer, so familiar to us all. I completely disagree. Some people who have parents who nurtured them, gave them attention and time, they could have been broke. But as long as that parent showed the child that the child or the youngster was important to the parent, these childs grow up with a healthy sense of self and a healthy self-image. And they're not thinking everything is going to fail. They don't quit. It's the person who comes up or who is raised in a toxic environment. And when I say toxic, I mean who have parents or carekeepers who don't themselves believe in themselves, all right? Or who are so shattered and broken inside that they don't want their child to go further in life than what they went. All right? So they destroy the child intentionally. Intentionally. Prevent the father from having a part in the child's life and teaching the child that the father's not interested in the child. And then subconsciously, the child thinks that he's not worth it or she's not worth her father's time or her father doesn't care. Y'all see what I'm saying? These are wounds. This is not natural. You're not born like that. That's stuff that people do to you and you accept it, right? You need to survive. So people learn to accept it and go with the flow. All right? Some people become narcissists. Some people deal with it by doing what? Some people deal with it by being selfless, right? You start serving other people just to try to keep yourself safe. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I disagree with the author here. Herein lies the paradox of cancer, so familiar to us all. Speak for yourself, author, don't speak for me. Just at the point of maximum opportunity to press forward and achieve our goals, we retreat fearfully into the securities of the past. So here, that's a what? Fear of success. Also a fear of success. So you self-sabotage. Y'all see how this Christianity takes you right back into the success and achievement literature, the success and achievement psychology? That's all it is. That's all it is. I noticed this way, way, way back in the early to mid 90s. That's when I first noticed this about Christianity being nothing more than the success and achievement literature expressed in a different way, but the same concepts, right? Same concepts. So let's continue. The crab is the perfect symbol of this. It is one of the most absurdly constructed creatures, a walking paradox. With the skeletal system on the outside, protecting its soft and vulnerable interior flesh. Its movement lacks the consistency of direction, which marks the movement of most other creatures. So in other words, most other creatures, when they're moving, you know exactly what direction they're going in. It's clear, but with the crab, you can't really tell. Okay? All right? Its movement lacks the consistency of direction. All right? Like that. But like when a dog walks or a cow or a horse, it's like that, right? But anyway, let's continue. Or even when a fish swims, it's usually straight. But let's continue. Instead of scuttles, apparently uncertain of its destination, and just to be on the safe side, it carries its house along with it. Its tenacious claws enable it to grab and hold all things it needs to make life bearable. Oh, thank you very much. So, thank you. This is the herbal, y'all can see it. So this is a cold herbal drink. It's a tea mixed with a fruit. It's cold and it has a fruity taste. This is the same thing I had in the last video. I wish the glass, you know, next time I'm going to see if I can get a clear glass so you guys can see it, okay? But it has a very sweet, fruity taste, but it looks like a tea. It's a herb. It's delicious and very refreshing. I think it's cinnamon in here. Cinnamon's in here also. I can taste it. Okay, so let's continue. I'm going to have to come back to this because this is not settling well with me. The part about the crab, let me show y'all what's not settling well with me. Let me find it again. Maybe y'all have some ideas about it. I'll check the chat. Let me y'all can call in if y'all want to. Let me put the call-in number up. Oh, by the way, support our Book of the Law translation project, y'all. I'm going to, if y'all want it, if there's support for it, okay? Translate the Book of the Law into Ancient Ibaryath, back into it rather, and then into modern English so that you can see what it actually says. You can see the natural law, verses and principles. I'll extract it and show it and explain it. I'll show you the tactics and strategies that have been used and are being used at present to oppress us. I always talk about the escheat and the attainders, right? I'll show you, or rather I'll take out all Jeremiah 8:8 occurrences that would be the deception and the lies and the mythology. All right. And you'll be able to read and understand exactly what our ancient ancestors would have read and would have known. Okay. So please support the project. It's an absolute humiliation that we don't have our own book of the law, but yet you hear all of these people, especially the Hebrew Israelites, talking about there's some type of movement and that we are returning to the Most High, but yet we don't even have our own book of the law, not because we don't have a scholar to do it, but because of petty competition and ego and greed. All right? many, if not most, of the popular Hebrew Israelite organizations, they all know my work, but they will not support it. They will not even mention my books. All right, why? Because it's a competition. All right, they see Zion Law School as competition. So how can that be a movement to return to the Most High when you have that kind of petty, trifling mentality and behavior? Y'all wake up. Wake up. Don't let people fool y'all. It's an absolute humiliation. It's a shame that we don't have our own book of the law. These people will not even promote or even show one of my books, even though I've had conversations with a few of them. All right. So let that tell you something. Let me go back to this, what I'm unsettled by. I'm unsettled by this concept of cancer, of tension being in cancer because of water. Let me read this again. In the beautiful, simple imagery of the zodiac, we see the tension. I don't see the tension. He says, we see the tension that is produced in cancer by the union of cardinality with water. I don't see the tension. The cardinal signs denote pioneering activity. That means you struck out and you did it first. All right, y'all? You did it first. You're innovative, leadership, whereas water, notice this, whereas water represents the shrinking, fearful, self-protective instinct. How? How? The cardinal sign represents pioneering activity. You strike out and you do something, you're the first one to do it. Or you're the first one to do it that way. There's a new technology, new way of doing something. You show leadership ability. This is what the cardinal sign represents. But then water, a shrinking back, water expands. The only time water shrinks back, let's say there's a tsunami, right? Then the water is going to shrink back off the shore, okay? Or some other condition, let's say a wave, a wave is coming in, right? The water's going to pull back off the shore, but then it's going to come back. I don't get this, how water represents the shrinking. Water expands. Water will fill whatever space, whatever volume is available. Water represents the shrinking, fearful, self-protective instinct. This is Carter. So I need to find this. I'm going to find this book, Carter, that was published in 1925. Page 64, where this citation comes from. I have to find out more about that, because right now that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't sit well with me. Herein lies the paradox of cancer, so familiar to all of us. Just at the point of maximum opportunity. Now, where does that come from? Why is he choosing the point of maximum opportunity to press forward and achieve our goals? We retreat fearfully. No, the person who retreats fearfully is the person who is afraid of success. The self-sabotager. Do y'all see what I'm saying? If you agree or if you disagree, if you agree with what I'm saying, put a 1 in the comment section. If you disagree, put a 2. Self-sabotagers. These are people who have a problem with their psychology, with the way they see themselves. They're afraid of success for whatever reason. And that's through their conditioning. Let's go to the next paragraph. We're on page 102. Such things give us a clue as to how the ancient world saw people who are Cancer, or the Cancer zodiac sign. Let me put it like that. Such things give us a clue. Now, okay, key word here, gives us a clue. So we're talking about a clue. This is not a fact, not evidence. This is speculation. Such things, like we just discussed, such things give us a clue as to how the ancient world saw the Cancerian type. Energetic but cautious, concerned with home and family, trapped in the past, while constantly threatening to break away from it. Trapped in the past, while constantly threatening to break away from it. In other words, you're living in the past, right? You're living, in other words, your past traumas are preventing you from enjoying your life and having healthy, nurturing relationships now. And you're aware of it, and you say you're going to let that stuff go, but you never let the past go. All right? You're carrying it around, you're wearing it like a cheap, dirty suit. Sensitive and caring beneath a thin but hard shell of aggressive self-protection. Y'all got that? Sensitive and caring, but can't nobody ask you a question without you getting offended. Nobody can say anything to you without you getting bent out of shape. All right? You have a thin, hard shell, and you are aggressive. When somebody challenges you, or when you feel challenged, let me correct that. When you feel challenged, you become aggressive and defensive. Manilius, rather unkindly perhaps, dwells on Cancer's grasping nature. So this Manilius, this is some person, y'all. He dwells on Cancer's grasping natures, just like the crab always trying to grab hold of something, right? Grabbing at everything. You know, here in being in Vietnam, I see they got seafood everywhere, right? So I see crabs all the time. So this is frozen mango. Thank you very much. Thank you. This is frozen mango. Frozen mango is absolutely, this is frozen yellow mango. It's absolutely delicious. It's literally frozen. And it's sweet, very, very sweet. In Vietnam, they have mango trees everywhere, y'all. They have durian trees everywhere, almond trees everywhere. This is so good. All right. Y'all stay with me. Ooh, that's good. And it actually melts. It melts in your mouth. Literally melts in your mouth. All right. So Cancer has a grasping nature. You're reaching for everything, right? And its ability to, quote, sell the worlds, quote, sell the worlds, produce the world, to establish commercial ties between so many unknown lands. So we're talking commerce, right? And to search out under foreign skies fresh sources of gain. Book 4, line 165 through 71. Psychologically, says Mayo, Cancer represents the, quote, primitive urge to protect and to nourish, especially the feminine desire to receive into the womb and to possess, end quote. That's Mayo, 1964, page 45. The glyph of Cancer, okay, I guess I'll show it. Y'all can look at the thumbnail also to see the glyph. To see the glyph. All right, y'all see it? There you are. Okay. The glyph of Cancer is generally thought to represent the crab's claws, but many see it as a representation of the breasts of a woman's breast, not the crab's claws, but of a woman's breast. Symbols of nurture and care, and of the transmission of nourishment from one generation to the next. Physiologically, it is said to rule the stomach and the digestive system. So how about that, y'all? How about that? Cancer symbology could very well be a woman's breast, representing the nurturing and caring attributes of a mother. All right. And of the transmission of nourishment. So that's the breast milk. So in the breast milk, what do we get? We get nutrition. And we get what? Immunoglobulins, right? To keep you healthy, to fight off illness. Okay? So from nourishment to one generation to the next, physiologically, Cancer rules the stomach and the digestive system. Y'all got that? It's very interesting stuff. How long have we been going? Let me check. I forgot to check the, let me check to make sure we have a signal. I hope that this is interesting for y'all. This bit of information about Cancer, we're representing a woman's breast, is very interesting to me. All right, so we have a signal. Y'all like and share the video. Please post it to your Facebook, Instagram, whatever social media you're using it. I'm doing it right now. I'm posting it to my Twitter, Facebook, and is it called LinkedIn or LinkedIn, something like that? Y'all do the same, okay? I'm putting the work in, so y'all support what I'm doing by liking the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and then also share the video on all of your social media, okay? Especially if you find, if this is useful to you. If you've been here more than 5 minutes, that's the least you can do. All right? I'm giving you a free quality education. Now, y'all know that you cannot get what I'm doing here anyplace else. All of y'all know it. I don't think anybody else has the courage to put this kind of content on their YouTube channel. One, because if they know, they're probably in a secret society and they're not going to tell you about it, right? And then two, nobody wants to hear the truth. You lose friends when you start talking and revealing the things that I'm revealing. Okay? So you know as well as I do, nobody's going to put this kind of information and teach you the way I'm teaching you. If they were, you'd be able to find this content like I'm doing on someone else's channel, right? But you cannot. See, I'm not talking around the topic or giving you some highlights. I'm giving you everything. I'm giving you everything, holding nothing back. You see the book? I'm going through it word for word with you. Who else is doing that for you? You got a course going on here. This is an actual class. You haven't paid anything for it. All right, so the least you can do is subscribe to the channel, share the video on all your social media. Also like this video. Okay, let me put the call-in number up. Y'all can call in if y'all want to. I'll leave it up for a minute. Let me find myself on the page. All right. We're on page 103, y'all. 1 second. Let me get myself together. Oh, how many minutes have we been at this? How many minutes we've been going, y'all? How do I tell? Okay, we've been going 49 minutes. Almost time to wrap this up. These traits and concerns can often be detected in individuals who have Cancer strongly marked in their horoscopes. They manifest in an astonishing variety of ways, but the underlying themes are evident and consistent. Boxer Iron Mike Tyson, born June 30th, typifies the aggressive shell hiding the vulnerable interior. In his Metamorphosis, Franz Kafka, born July 3rd, describes the transformation of Gregor Hamsa into a giant hard-shell beetle. And in The Trial, he explores the essential isolation of the individual human being. Trudeau, born July 12th, lived a life of recluse, barely moving from the place of his birth. And the British writer Colin Wilson, born June 26th, attained some celebrity with his first book, The Outsider. Even the philosopher Leibniz, Leibniz, born July 1st, expressed Cancerian images in his quote-unquote monads, the theory that reality is composed of discrete and impermeable entities. Y'all go through that paragraph again. I'm not interested in anything that I saw in that paragraph. If you see something, I want to move forward. However, few people typify Cancer as completely as Marcel Proust, born July 10th. who spent much of his time in his room, wrapped in a cocoon of bedclothes, and was constantly troubled by his stomach. So me as a medical doctor, this is absolutely means nothing. Just like showing these birthdays, it means nothing. Listen, scholars, in order for this to have any true meaning, you'd have to do a statistical analysis, not over 1 year, not over 10 years, not over even 100 years. You'd have to do a statistical analysis across all cultures, going all the way back through the history of time. All that data is not available. So I take this with a grain of salt. There's plenty of people born on any day of the year, and I know this from experience, who don't want to get out of bed and who have problems with their stomach for many, many reasons, all right? Depression, poor diet, etc., etc., etc. Illness, okay? Food, they got a hold of some bad food. Anyway, let's continue. Let me find my place. All right, yeah, here we are. So this guy, Marcel Proust, born July 10th, spent much of his time in his room. That could be what? People who want to isolate themselves. There's many reasons why people do that. Has nothing to do with the birthday. Okay? It's personality. Wrapped in a cocoon of bedclothes and was constantly troubled by his stomach. Well, we would expect that for a person who has what? Emotional problems. They're going to have problems with their stomach. The two go hand in hand. And if you're eating bad food or you get a hold of some bad food, that can also put you in a bad mood. Food can alter your personality. Just try giving a child some sugar. Or how about this? Try drinking too much coffee. Try drinking too much red wine. See how you're going to feel. Go out here, eat a lot of pork. See how you're going to feel. All right? I mean, this to me, this is nonsense, okay? But it might be nonsense to me because I'm not well educated on the topic. But from my point of view, as a medical doctor, this is completely absurd. And as an educated man, it has the consistency of ice cream, y'all. The mango, it has a consistency of ice cream. In fact, it actually tastes like mango ice cream. Y'all should try it. Frozen mango, cut your mango up, freeze it, and then try eating it. All right, so let's continue. His great work is the multi-volume Remembrance of Things Past. Okay, so that's where he's getting this connection to cancer, right? They're stuck in the past, right? They're stuck in the past. Remembrance of Things Past. A paean to reminiscence, sparked by eating a little cake called a Madeleine, and when asked which manual profession he would take up, should he need to, he replied, in true Cancerian fashion, quote, I think I would become a baker. It is an honorable thing to give people their daily bread, end quote. All right, so that's the caring and the nurturing for people aspect of cancer. This is the citation from Dave Button, page 201. Such traits can also be perceived in Cancerian nations. America, quote, born on the 4th of July, end quote, seems to epitomize the Cancer zodiac sign. Reagan, y'all know Reagan, okay, President Reagan from the 80s. Ronald Reagan's, quote, Star Wars, end quote, program, conceived as a protective shell around the USA to keep out all enemy missiles, struck a Cancerian chord deep in the American psyche. The flag, mom, and apple pie are all Cancerian things, demonstrating a national commitment to collective security, family values, and a full stomach. I would wholeheartedly disagree because that's what everybody wants. Not just in the USA, every country wants that. Every man, every woman, every human wants that. So again, scholars, read, when you read, don't just accept things, think about it, read analytically. So I totally disagree. I would say all nations want these things. So is that to say all nations are Cancer? Could be, but I know it's just not the USA. All right. Everybody's trying to defend themselves. So this hard shell or this protective shell, they're going to put up a protective shell using whatever technology, whatever means and resources they have, right? Popcorn that most Americans, let me repeat it, popcorn that most American of foods, so popcorn is American, that's what he's saying, symbolizes the need for abundance and the desire to be able to eat forever and never get full or fat. Again, that's the desire of everyone, man, woman, and the humans, and the hybrids. The hybrid is different because a hybrid is never satisfied. He always wants to take, or he or she, let me repeat that, they or them always want to take other people's stuff. The animalistic nature that they have. A talent for trade has enabled the American people to fill their coffers to overflowing and to seek out new markets in an attempt to appease the God of economic growth. Again, I disagree. There is no talent, special talent for commerce in the US. You know, that's outrageous. What they have is a big army and hybrids who are willing to use it and who do use violence and force to take people's resources and land. That's what they have, to steal markets and to create markets using, these days, biological weapons and psychological attacks. That's what they have. All right, and they have what else that makes the whole thing possible? Central banks. They have no special talent, no special skill. It's all through military might and fiat. And you being brainwashed into religion such that you abandon nature, such that you put yourself in their jurisdiction so that they can then treat you as their chattel or stock. All right? That's what the truth is. I've traveled almost to every continent. Many, many countries for many, many years. And I can tell you that people in the US cannot compete. Even in Vietnam, cannot compete. Cannot compete. No way. So how do they do it? How do they maintain it? Through the threat of violence and actual violence. Military. All right? Military and central banks and unity. And unity, they work together. They may, on the surface, pretend like they got issues. They may even fight wars, but at the top, when it comes to having domination and superiority over the Moors, the indigenous people of the land, they are unified. And a lot of these wars and a lot of the world events, if not all of the crises, are engineered to make you and keep you a believer, keep you in Christianity, keep you in urgent expectation of end time prophecy. That's right. All of this stuff is manufactured. Yeah, they're fighting wars, but at the top, they're all on the same team. And that war is simply, or those wars are simply to put you in a state of mind where you're going to accept a radical change in government and the economic system, and to reduce the population, and to get rid of the older people so that they can then do whatever they want in terms of indoctrination with the little or the youngins. That's all it is. All right? Y'all being played on every aspect. Just like with the Hebrew Israelites. Y'all see how it's coming into mainstream media? All right? Trust me, it's not in mainstream media by mistake. Okay? It's because they're going to use it against you. This is their nature. Mark my word, they're going to use it against you. That's the only reason why it's being put in the mainstream media. And I can tell you this, many of these leaders, especially in the big organizations, they're in secret societies. They're smiling in your face, all right, and they're leading you to be sheared. All right? Now, I've told you. They're leading you to be sheared. They are traitors. Traitors. All right? You think they're on your team. No, they're not. Their role is to keep you scared and afraid and in urgent expectation of end time prophecy. So that when you see these wars happening, they got you where they want you to be, which is completely neutralized and passive. So that when they bring in their new system, you still waiting on JC. It's going to be too late. All right. Let's continue. A talent for trade has enabled the American people to fulfill their coffers to overflowing. That is an absolute lie. It is through war, violence, threat of violence, biological warfare, and central banks that they control. That's how they fill their coffers. They pick and choose their winners. You better believe that. And y'all know that us, people who look like us, the indigenous people, we don't have access in mass, right? We don't have access to those mechanisms that will enable you to acquire wealth, especially wealth quickly. They keep us out of that. All right? They keep us out of the new markets. But of course, you won't know that if you watch TV and you listen to the radio and you look at media, right? You get sold into this idea that it's an equal playing field, but somehow these people are just so smart and they're so talented that they get everything. Or at least we thought that up until recently, right? Up until recent times when the light began to be shown on these people. All right? They own the banks, they own the central banking system. Right? They only do things with their friends and their families, people in their community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The spiritual challenge of cancer then lies in coming to terms with our own need for security, which tends to chain us fearfully to the past and renders us incapable of jettisoning all the accumulated detritus that we consider indispensable to our lives. In other words, when you've stolen enough, when you've killed enough, you got to look over your shoulder. All right, y'all? That's how I understood that. Insecure because of what you've done. And remember, this is Christianity and the Western or the hybrid troglodytes. Okay, this is their mindset and their history, not ours. It challenges us to open ourselves up, to remove the shell of conditioning and expose our vulnerable underside, to break through the barrier which shuts out the unfamiliar and which serves as a defense against novel and alien experience. Okay, well, cough up the reparations, right? How about that? Tell the truth about who we are. Moors, the indigenous rightful heirs of the land. How about that? Tell the truth about our political and social status, diversity of citizenship. Tell the truth about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship 1836. Teach the Moors how to use it. Stop escheating the people. Stop all of these bills of attainders. Give all the land back, all the resources back. You start paying rent. How about that as reparations? Otherwise, this is all a bunch of Christian garbage. Sounds good, all right? But they will never do it unless they're forced to. And as long as you are afraid to die, unlike your ancestors, as long as you are afraid to die, thanks to Christianity, you'll be in the same place you're at until you man up or woman up. All right? We construct our personal carapace out of family, tradition, and fear, and we keep it in place by averting our eyes from the horizon and fixing our gaze downward. Now, I disagree with that also. We become fierce protectors of our inheritance, and rightly so, and eager collectors of anything which might cushion us, and rightly so, or our offspring against life's capricious reversals. The symbolism of the moon, which rules Cancer, so Cancer is ruled by the moon, further underlies these themes. The sun and the moon are the two primary celestial symbols, representing opposed but complementary aspects of life. The sun is positive, shining with this light of its own. It is constant, always the same shape in the daytime sky. It is the yang or masculine energy. So the sun is masculine energy of the conscious mind, which pushes outward. Y'all got that? So the sun is radiating outward. So it's masculine. That would mean what? The earth is feminine. Why? Because it's accepting, receiving that radiant energy from the sun. It also accepts what? Water, rain. So that's why you get Mother Earth. All right. So let's continue. The moon, on the other hand, is negative. So the sun is positive, the moon is negative. Shining with reflected light, the moon seems inconsistent, in a state of flux, and so has come to be associated with the feminine yin. So the moon is the yin, the moon is the yin, and the sun is the yang. The moon is negative, it's feminine. All right? And so has come to be associated with the quote unquote feminine yin energy of the turbulent, unpredictable, unconscious. So the unconscious mind is the wild monkey, right? You need to get it under control. In classical astrology, the moon symbolizes the feminine side of us all, the tender, nurturing, protective instinct. It particularly stands for the mother. So the moon is the mother, our individual, personal mother, and the collective source of all life, motherhood personified. The moon represents all organizations and institutions, such as churches and schools, which have a mothering role and which we honor with such titles as Mother Church or Alma Mater. Okay, I didn't know that. Alma Mater, Mother Church, all right? Okay, y'all, so is the Tetragrammaton associated with the moon? Is the Tetragrammaton associated with the moon? What about Sin-Agog? Sin-Agog. Mayo sees the moon as representing the quote, the mediator between past and present, end quote, by means of which, quote, are created protective forms of habit patterns, instinctive behaviors, and responses, end quote. The moon's readily observable cyclic rhythm has led to its association with the ebb and flow of sensation and emotional experience. All right, that makes sense. Okay, I mean, at least metaphorically. That maintains the periodical need for a man to withdraw into his past experience, memory, or to draw on the past. In addition, and crucial to what follows, The moon is said to govern, quote, taste and drinking, the stomach, the belly, and the womb, end quote. This is coming from Mayo, 1964, page 18. All right, y'all, so that's going to end it. Be sure to, if you feel it in your heart and you want to support the Book of the Law translation project, if you want to support the production and the distribution and the marketing of our own Book of the Law, please, or you are invited rather, to send your contribution to our Cash App. You see it on the screen. Okay. Send your contribution to our Cash App or our PayPal. Cash App is $DrYasapa. And our PayPal is paypal.me/Zion Law School. If you don't want to do that, you can buy any of the books that I've written. You can show up on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't have to pay anything. Make sure you read the description of the class, 506 The Curses course. All right, it is a paid course, but you get some free classes. Or you can subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course, okay? So you can support us in any way that you want, or you can give a free, not a free, what you call it, you can give a gift or donation for nothing. Whatever you want to do, okay? We have many ways you can support us. I'm DrYasapa from Zion Law School. I hope you guys learned something, scholars. Hope this was worth your time. If you stay, like, share, and subscribe. All right, like, share, and subscribe if you've been here more than 5 minutes. Islam, all, Moors, and Shalawama. Everybody should start saying Islam and Shalawama, right? As a way to change our mindset. Now remember, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, to change the people, we must change the literature. We must change the literature. We need our own book of the law that's honest, okay? That's honest. All the lies and deception taken out. So where are you in your consciousness? If you feel it in your heart, support it. Shalom.